And welcome to the Louisiana USSSA Swinging for the Fences podcast. I'm Todd Black, along with Lane Petrie and Ross Petrie. This past weekend in USSSA saw a lot of action in Lake Charles with the governor's games. It's a super NIT, and we will cover that. We'll also cover what's coming up this weekend, which are a bunch of state tournaments around Baton Rouge and surrounding areas also. We got some highlights from the Memorial Day weekend. We also have some highlights of teams in the governor's games. So we've got a lot to cover. So let's get going. Guys, welcome to the show.
All right. Great to be here, Todd.
Good to be here. We had a jam-packed 2 weeks, back-to-back, ready for some state tournaments.
Yes. Governor's games were phenomenal.
What facilities over there in Lake Charles? I was there. I saw the rain that those fields took, but you guys didn't miss a beat with that.
Friday night we took a big hit from the storms, and we were able to continue. And Sunday night for the championship game, the last championship game, we took a pretty major storm, and we were able to continue. We were at Frash, that's where the two big storms were, in Patterson and Power Center in Lake Charles.
Ross, talk a little bit about the quality of teams that the governor's game saw.
The quality of teams, it was similar to a World Series, almost. And a lot of situations, a lot of the championships were the number one team in the country versus number two team in the country. And it was just incredible to watch. I mean, it looked like high school players with 9-year-olds' arms, 10-year-olds' arms. You know what I mean? These guys could hit. They hit the ball out of the fence. I saw some 9-year-olds pitching about 65 miles an hour. It was unbelievable.
Tell you what, the amount of talent at a tournament like this is, unless you see it, you really can't understand how much talent and how good these young kids are. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. 10-year-olds doing unbelievable things. It always amazes me.
We have some highlights from the governor's games this past week. Lane, tell us a little bit about what we're about to see.
All right, in the first video, we've got the Louisiana Seminoles from Amy, Louisiana, who's coached by Brennan Kelsey. And I want to show this video because it's also a special tribute to one of the coaches. It's the first time they wear their shirts, and he's battling a sickness. So it was all about for this guy. So it was pretty special for them.
Good tribute there by the LA Seminoles 13-year-old team. Tell us a little bit about videos 2 and 3.
So video 2 and 3 is from the Louisiana Knights Northwest, this 13-year-old team, and they are ranked at one of the tops in the country. They are a really strong team, and it's phenomenal to watch these kids play. I mean, it's hitting the ball hard and long, and
There's some high school
great
players
athletes.
on that team.
Yes, they're high school players.
Well, and Ross, as you mentioned earlier, there are teams all across the country. This next clip is a little bit example of that.
Yeah, we have, let's see, this is
The Houston Hustle.
This is the Knights again. This is the Southeast Hustle. That was a 10-year-old team walking it off in the quarterfinal game. That's a well-coached team. All those coaches are former major league coaches, or former major league players that are now coaches. It was cool having them. There's a lot of Houston teams there, actually.
Yeah.
Well, how about the Texas Matrix?
All right, we're here with the Texas Matrix from Houston. We just had a game-winning hit in the semis in the bottom of the fifth. Where's 34? How'd it feel to get the game-winning hit, dude?
It felt really good.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, y'all headed to the championship. Y'all excited?
Yes, sir!
Yeah, go Matrix. Woo!
So that walk-off was in the semifinal game, and that put them in the championship game, which they also walked off.
Well, there's another team from the Baton Rouge area, and you mentioned 1 versus 2 matchups. This was one of those matchups that the Traction Canes Black 9U came out on top.
That's one of those teams that the Canes Black in that 9-year-old division. I've been hearing about them for a couple years, and I've been wanting to see it. And there they are after that championship.
Look at that good-looking little boy right there.
He's like, do you know that kid?
I know that kid. I know them all, actually, and they're all great kids. Brad Cressy and Kenny Estep, Richie Edmonds all do a tremendous job with those kids, and they're all the number 1 team in the country. And, you know, their record over the past 3 years, and this isn't bragging, I'm just telling you how it is. It's like 165 and 18 or 19.
And, they played the American Force, which is really – I've had some games against them before.
Yeah, they're out of Pearland, Texas, and it's a respectful rivalry. And that's what you have to teach kids at this age. Look, you can respect that other team, but you don't necessarily have to,
You want to beat them.
Yeah, you want to beat them.
You want to beat them.
Right, let's just be honest, okay? So moving on, and we saw the 10U championship game. You have some highlights of that also of a Traction Canes team, correct?
Yes, the Canes Black 10-year-old team faced that Texas Matrix team. That was another great game. We were interrupted by the rain a little bit, but hopped right back on the field, and that was a classic game.
Yeah. So what we're showing here is the Canes in the top inning took the lead on this hit.
Wow.
And then so they took the lead, and then Texas Matrix came back, and we got a couple of videos of the base hit and then the game-winning double.
Talk about electric. I mean, that place was rocking.
Not only the lightning in the sky, right?
Yeah.
I
But it's
think
amazing how exciting a 10-year-old game can get. I mean, the tension was built.
Oh, yeah.
tension to say the least.
Yeah.
And then you do have that next video showing the Texas Matrix with the game-winning double to win the championship, and we get to see it right here. Oh, wow.
There it is.
That's the single up the middle to get the runner on base. To the next one is the game-winning hit.
Well, and of course, the thing with the Super NITs and the Governor's games, as we see, is that it allows them to go to the Elite World Series, which is in Vieira, Florida, starting on July 14th, correct?
Right.
So, the next thing we're going to talk about a little bit is, you talked about a tribute earlier. This video is about the West Feliciana tribe. And you have Coach Joyner, who is a former military guy, that wanted his kids to do something a little bit different. Lane, talk a little bit about that.
So he was at the National Guard. They had a celebration the week before, and they had the wall there. And he's thought to himself, what can he do to give just a big shout out to all these players and for his players for these fallen heroes. So he picked some names out off the wall, and then he assigned each player a fallen hero, and they had to go do research and find out everything about the guy who was killed. And so it was amazing that they all learned about it. I mean, they all did their research. Every kid knew exactly about this player, this fallen hero. It was really impressive.
They were representing each fallen hero almost like on their back. It was,
So they bought Army green uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They had Army hats with the fallen hero's name on the back. It was pretty neat.
Let's take a look at that. This is Coach Joyner and his team, the West Feliciana tribe.
you can see those Army green uniforms.
Yep.
And now we'll hear from not only Coach Joyner, but also his team and who they represented as their fallen hero that was on their back that night.
Yep.
Hey everyone, we're here at the Memorial Day Governor's Games in Baton Rouge. We're here with the West Feliciana tribe, coaches and team. We have a special little tribute today. So Coach, tell us a little bit about y'all's uniforms today.
Well, my name is Jim Joyner, and I wanted to teach the boys a little bit about what Memorial Day was. I asked them at practice what Memorial Day meant, what that holiday was for, and just about every one of them said it's recognize people that served in the military. I told them it was a little more special than that. It was people that gave their life in the line of duty with the military, and so that thought process carried on a little bit more, and I said, well, let's do this. Let's recognize some fallen soldiers and teach them these guys a lesson. So I don't know if y'all know this or not, but last week they had the National Guard Memorial behind the state capitol, and I was present for that. And I went there and I took names off the bricks that soldiers that had fallen, and I brought 15 of them home with me, and I had the kids select a name out of the hat, and we had a little homework to do. A little bio. I want them to be able to stand up and tell the rest of the team a little bit about the soldier that they're representing, and we did that, and I think the kids learned a valuable lesson that Memorial Day is different than Veterans Day, and it's really special that they carry these guys with them.
What an awesome tribute on a special weekend. So we're gonna hear a little bit about these soldiers that we're remembering on this weekend. Guys, y'all come close.
Hello, my name is Parker Reach. I'm number 42, and my hero is Specialist Reed.
Awesome.
Hello, my name is Rylan Scott. I'm number 99, and my hero is Floyd G. Knighton Jr., and he was a specialist in the National Guard.
Come on.
Hello, my name is Trey Rogers. I'm number 28, and my guy was a specialist from the National Guard, Seth Trahan.
Step on up for.
Hello, my name is Dedrick Davis. My hero that I'm honoring is Robert W. Sweeney III. He was a specialist from the Army in Louisiana.
Guys.
Hi, my name is Will Reddy, and I'm number 2, and I'm honoring Ronald W. Culver, and he was a major in the National Guard. My name is Carter, and I'm number 27, and I'm honoring Styles.
Hi, my name is Chip Joyner. I'm number 7, and my hero that I'm representing is Christopher R. Drake from the 165th Battalion from New Orleans.
My name is Maddox Hawkins. I'm number 1 for the West Feliciana Tribe, and my hero who I'm serving for is Army Sergeant Lee M. Godbolt.
My name is Manning Hawkins. I'm number 13, and my hero is Army Sergeant Isaiah J. Sinclair.
My name is Caden Bell. I'm number 24, and I'm representing Craig L. Nelson, Sergeant Major.
My name is Cooper Reach, and I am number 000, and I am representing Kurt J. Como.
My name is Jamar Meaden. I'm number 6, and I represent Christopher J. Babin.
My name is Landon Bigner. I'm number 49, and I'm representing Army Specialist Fastbender.
Did I get everyone? Everyone? You got to say something?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm also representing. I'm assistant coach with Jim Joyner. My name is Garrett Bell, representing Warren Murphy. He actually died with a couple of these other guys in an Army Bradley fighting vehicle. Was actually passed over an IED, and he passed with these guys. Just want to say this was a supreme honor that we were able to do today. Taught these boys some life lessons that they'll be able to take with them down the road. More important than baseball, even though it's a great sport, that was a great thing that these boys did today.
What an incredible tribute. Guys, that's really special. It's really something special that y'all are doing. Take pride in that. Know it's a little bit bigger than baseball this weekend. We're proud to have y'all at our tournament, man. Thank y'all.
Our next segment is always a popular one. We try to put any coach always tries to put their strongest hitter in the 4-hole, and I think that's what we've done with this next segment throughout the
Absolutely.
past. With Coach Keith Menard. Coach Menard is the Louisiana umpire assigner for Louisiana USSSA. Coach Menard, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Great to have you. Great to be back on with you guys.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Hey, looking forward to a great weekend coming up, right?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm doing right now, working on schedules, umpire schedules.
Lane, talk a little bit about what our rule is going to be centered around today.
So today we're talking about awarding bases. So from a fielder, from a pitcher, whether it's one base or two base, if the ball goes out of play in the dugout, how many bases are awarded?
Yeah, that always seems to be an issue at the parks. Even with our umpires, sometimes we get confused with awarded bases. And we always grew up with 1 + 1. It's 1 + 1. Well, when you look in the rule book, there's no such thing as 1 + 1. So if it's going to be a first throw from an infielder, such as a ground ball to the shortstop, and he throws it to first base, and he throws it into the dugout, then the bases are awarded as 2 bases, time of the pitch. We usually don't. That's the one that we don't miss too many. That's a pretty easy one,
Well, what people don't understand about awarding 2 bases on that. It's that it's at the time of the pitch.
Correct.
It's not from the throw or where the runner was located. It's at the pitch.
Right. A lot of times we'll get with the ball in at the dead ball area, which is not true either. It always on this one it reverts back to the time of the pitch. On a throw from an outfielder or a second throw from an infielder, it's 2 bases from the time of release. So when that outfielder gets a ball and throws it in, if he throws it into the dugout, then when he released the baseball, all the players would get 2 bases at that time. And that's a tough one because with 2 guys on the field, sometimes it could be a little more difficult to know when the ball was released and where the runners were when that ball was released. One that we've had the last few weeks that has given people really all of us some trouble is from a pitcher. So when a pitcher pitches a baseball or makes a pickoff attempt that's where he's still a pitcher, which means he's either contact with the rubber or does an inside move, then that would be considered 1 base from the time of from the time he let the ball go. So if he pitches a baseball, hits the plate, or scoots by the catcher and goes under the fence, the runners would advance 1 base. So that one is pretty standard.
Okay.
What really gets people, though, is when a pitcher steps off the back of the rubber and then throws to first base to pick someone off, and he throws it into the dugout. The pitcher now has become a fielder, and he's no longer a pitcher when he steps back off the rubber, so you would award 2 bases from that time.
Wow, okay.
First throw from an infielder, right?
First throw from an infielder, so it's 2 bases. That one will get our umpires a little bit, and we'll get coaches not very happy at that point, but that is the rule at that time.
I'm going to have to remember that and use that one.
But it is. It's very true, So, we've seen that one lately. It seems like, a little bit more.
That step move's getting popular.
Yes. So one that got me when I was first umpiring, and I actually awarded bases incorrectly, was runner at first base, a line drive to the second baseman. He up the middle, he dove, caught the baseball. The runner from first had broke. Then he sees him catch. He's retreating, and the second baseman throws it out of the play. And I awarded the runner second base. Figuring I use that old 1+1 mentality. 1 is going back to first and 2 going to second. But in reality, because that's a first throw from an infielder, he should have gotten 2 bases from that point. He should have gotten third base.
Wow.
And so
because he already occupies first base, correct?
He's already occupied first base. I kept thinking we had to go back and tag, right? It doesn't matter. At the time of the pitch, he had already occupied first base. He would get third base. And at that point, when I blew that rule and nobody said a word in the park at all, it was awarded second base. Everybody was good. I realized at that point I really need to get down into the rules and really start learning them even more as an umpire and not make that mistake again. And so I did. But then as I've gotten into this role, I've seen a lot more, screwy things happen. It's really got me into the rules even more. So
what about a second throw from a fielder? Let's say a ball is hit to the outfield, and the outfielder hits his cutoff man. His cutoff man throws it out of play.
It's going to be 2 bases from the time of that release. So it's the same thing as an outfielder. So a throw from an outfielder or a second throw from an infielder is going to be 2 bases time of the release.
So that's the same. Very good.
That's exactly the same. So, it's everybody wants all these bases, but it can, awarded bases is what it is. We've had some screwy things happen during the years, but those things are pretty standard right there.
Well, Coach Menard, you had a very busy weekend last week. This week proves to be the same. So good luck with assigning all your umpires, and hopefully you'll have another smooth weekend.
Well, we always look forward to them smooth weekends, Ty. We're going to keep trying, man.
All right, man. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Thank y'all, guys.
Speaking of smooth weekends coming up, Ross, what's on tap this week for the state tournaments and Louisiana USSSA?
Tell you what, before I get into that, the craziest thing I think I've ever seen on a field, a right fielder, so there's a runner on first, ball hits a right fielder picks up the game ball and a ball that was lying in the bullpen, throws them both in.
What do you do?
There's 2 balls in play, no one knew what to do. We ended up just killing the play, but
All right, that'll
That's
work.
the stuff. Those are the type of stuff that happen in youth baseball that you don't see in the major leagues, and that's where
right.
Keith comes into play. And he makes a call on the spot.
Right. That's bizarre.
So this weekend is our second weekend of state tournaments. Last week we had North State up in Monroe. This week we got South State. The first weekend of South State. We are playing in Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Zachary, and Chalmette this weekend. It is wild. This is my favorite part of the year, state tournament. This is what all.
Yes.
This is the ring that kids really chase. So.
I think we've got about 300 teams playing this weekend only in state tournament. Next week we got like another 250.
Well, before we get out of here, I want to tell y'all great job with the West Feliciana Tribe. I think that is something that, as we heard Coach Joyner talk about how important it is to teach kids more than baseball. USSSA youth sports needs guys like that because, of course, sports is there, but those lifetime lessons will never be forgotten, and I'm sure that's one the West Feliciana Tribe won't forget.
There's always a team doing something special. That Louisiana Seminoles this week, they had the Louisiana Drillers, I think, also had commemorative uniforms for Memorial Day. We did the Susan Komen Foundation.
Cancer,
that's right. And she did. I mean, they had a team that dressed in pink, and they did a tribute to that. So there's always somebody that's giving life lessons, and it's always surrounded around sports, but the meaning is much bigger than sports.
If there's a team or an organization that's doing something like that, and we would like to hear about it. Absolutely. And Lane, how would they get in touch with you or Ross by?
Well, our email addresses are on the USSSA website.
Okay, great.
So you can go to USSSA.com or LouisianaUSSSASports.com.
We appreciate everything that the coaches do, the umpires, all the volunteers, and keep doing those small things make a big difference, especially in a young man's life with USSSA baseball, whether it's any youth sports, and we appreciate all you do. For Ross Petrie, Lane Petrie, I'm Todd Black saying so long, everybody.
Hey, y'all have a great one.